Und damit herzlich willkommen zurück zu The Cat Lady. So, Babysitten erledigt. Machen wir jetzt erst das Kleid oder gehen wir erst in Wohnung 7? Ich glaube, wir gehen erst in Wohnung 7. So, danke. Dass du es so abschneidest. Der Strom ist ja weg. Ja, nach wie vor, ja. Dementsprechend. Ich brauche nicht anzurufen, ich weiß, dass er nicht da ist. Ach stimmt, der ist ja losgegangen, um Kabel zu holen. Tür ist abgeschlossen. Kein Problem. Da, Mitzi. Finden wir erstmal ein Schloss. Wie wär's mit dem vor uns? Mitzi, was ist los mit dir?
Now that he's gone, we can get inside?
Yes, let's do that.
I'll close my eyes and you pick that lock, Mitzi.
Okay, but no peeking.
I'd never. You've really hurt my feelings now.
Yeah. Now close them.
Magic.
Jesus, are these...
Relax, Mrs. A. They're just Halloween masks.
Oh, good. That's good. Because I swear, if I see another bloody head...
Ich würde darunter schrecklich schützen. Es gibt so etwas. Was? Es gibt so etwas wie zu viel Gummi. Ich hasse Clowns so sehr. Eine einfache weiße Maske mit 2 Löchern für die Augen. Schön. Keine davon sehen illegal aus. Er mag wohl einfach Pflanzen. Hier ist ziemlich groß. Dieser Lautsprecher ist riesig und er ist mit Jessys Computer verbunden. Immer wenn er Musik hört, müssen die Wände wackeln. Das ist Jessys PC. Ist das die berüchtigte Lärmquelle? Es scheint so. Scheinbar hat die aber den Strom abgestellt. Ja, das waren wir. Kein Strom. Jessys PC ist hier eingesteckt, wenn wir nur Zugang zu einer funktionierenden Steckdose hätten. Ich kann etwas von Spätabendverkehr durchs offene Fenster hören. Das ist schön. Okay, wir haben auf jeden Fall noch ein Verlängerungskabel.
So, who's got windows over this side of the building?
Now this is a dress worthy of the cat widow. I guess we could also check one flat below Joe's. I just hope the cable's long enough.
Let's find out, shall we?
Ach so. Okay, also flat dry. Flat dry. Ich hatte mich schon gefragt, warum hänge ich das zur Tür raus, zur Fenster raus, weil da wird ja auch kein Strom sein. Warum kann ich in Flat 3 nicht rein? Da war doch der Schizophrene, oder? Okay, hier kann ich auch nicht rein. Ja, müssen wir schon nach unten. Das Kabel. Längste Verlängerungskabel ever. Kann hier nicht auch jemand Schmiere stehen? Das ist mir ein bisschen unsicher. Okay, wenigstens komme ich direkt wieder rein.
Right. I should be able to use that computer now. Could you give me 5 minutes, Mrs. A?
Sure. Why not? I'll keep an eye on the door.
It's not him either. God damn it.
Okay, kann das Kabel aber nicht wieder mitnehmen. Müssen wir das unten erst wieder losstecken. Oder ist es einfach nicht vorgesehen, dass wir keine Hinweise hinterlassen? Okay. Wir dürfen sie scheinbar nicht mitnehmen. Können wir mit der Schere daran spielen? Nein. Also, nicht mit der Schere in der Steckdose spielen. Ja, dann bleibt eigentlich nur noch Brian, ne? Ich mich dann allerdings frage, ob es eine gute Idee ist, dem einen Streich zu spielen hier mit der Katzenwitwe. So, was brauchten wir denn noch?
Okay. So what do we need?
Well, basically, we need 3 things.
Hammer.
Red paint. We've got it already. The dress will make a great costume. We just need it in black.
Haben wir.
Also, it should look damaged. That's important. Cat Widow is a ghost after all.
Schere. Okay.
I'll need some scissors for that.
Hammer.
This mask I took from Jessie's flat will do the job nicely.
Gut, dann haben wir alles.
We need to make some adjustments. Now this is a dress worthy of the Cat Widow.
Why don't you admit it was too small for you?
Ha ha, bloody ha. Why don't you just shut up? Whoever wore this dress probably hadn't eaten in years. You'd struggle to get a skeleton into it. This is it. We've got all we need.
Great. Are you going to tell me about the Cat Widow now?
Yes, it's story time, Mitzi. The legend says there was once a bad man who hated cats. He hated his bald head and his weak, ugly body. He probably hated himself the most, although he would never admit it.
I think I see where this is going.
One day, out of pure hatred for the whole world and everything that lives, he captured a family of cats, and drowned them all in the river. That day, the sun turned black and all the birds went silent as the 6 kittens struggled for life. But trapped in a strong canvas bag, they never had a chance. They all died that day, all but one. The mother cat, in a desperate fight to set herself free, by pure luck clawed her way out of the bag and swam to the shore. She stayed on the bank of the river for a while. The world stopped turning for her, her eyes empty and blind. Her heart crashed into pieces as she watched their limp dead bodies stolen by the current. Running after them, she followed them for days, for as long as she could. Then, eventually, she lost sight of them. She stayed on the bank of the river for a while. The world stopped turning for her, her eyes empty and blind. And then, one day, she slowly slid down the bank and into the cold, dark water. She gave in to it. She let the river take her away too, cover her mouth, her ears, her eyes. But as the water filled her lungs and she started slipping into darkness, there was another strange feeling that burst in her mind like a ball of flames. Anger, rage even. Her last craving, before she drowned, was for revenge, for blood. And so she returned, reborn and changed, a cat widow, veiled in black, mistress of the cats. Her body of a young woman, but her eyes of a cat, and her face, white, rotten, face of a corpse. Those who saw it rarely lived to tell the tale. She would get her revenge on all cat killers and cat torturers, but there was someone she had to see first, someone special, someone she really hated the most. As the evening came, it was strangely quiet in the man's flat. As he lived alone, he usually liked to fill the silence with the sound of radio or TV shows. But that night, he switched them all off, feeling anxious and tired after work. He tried to sleep, but couldn't. And for once, there wasn't anyone there he could blame for it. As he stared through the window, he kept thinking about how much he hated that view. He liked it once, a long time ago, when his wife was still there and they were happy together. Suddenly, he heard knocking on the door. Some part of him was glad, because that meant he could take it out on whoever decided to bother him. There was nobody there. He almost felt disappointed, but before he turned to walk away, he suddenly noticed something down the hall.
An der nahegelegenen Wand war der riesige Schatten einer Katze. Er bemerkte den Schatten einer verhüllten Gestalt vor ihm. Der tote Körper einer ausgeweideten Katze hing auf der Heizung.
He noticed a shadow of a cloaked figure standing ahead. He stopped again. He couldn't believe his eyes.
Jemand hatte Arschloch auf seine Tür geschrieben. Der Schädel einer Katze steckte auf dem Sattel seines Fahrrades. Jemand hatte Katzenmörder auf seine Tür geschrieben. Ich glaube, Katzenmörder macht am meisten Sinn, ne? Ich meine, warum sollten wir einen Schädel einer Katze haben? Wir wollen ja die Katzen verteidigen.
Someone wrote "cat killer" on his door. He had a passion for trains. Although he hated being a train driver, he had always enjoyed watching them move. But now, his train model was moving all on its own. He was absolutely certain he'd left it switched off. And yet, there it was, running at crazy speed, remote control missing. Something was seriously wrong, and that something had entered his home now too. He hoped he was just imagining things, tired as he was. But there was another surprise waiting for him in his bedroom.
Eine riesige, in Blut getränkte Zombie-Katze saß auf seinem Bett. Würde ich gerne sehen. Cat Widow ist hier, die Katzenwitwe ist hier, stand überall A. Ja, wir wollen uns ja als Katzenwidow, Cat Widow ausgehen. Ne?
Cat Widow is here, was written all over the wall.
Wie im Traum ging er in die Küche, um etwas zu trinken. Jetzt bekam er wirklich Angst und entschied sich, die Polizei zu rufen. Ich finde den Teil mit der Angst gut. Wie im Traum finde ich nicht so gut. Aber gut, da können wir ihn nochmal wahrscheinlich erschrecken. Die Polizei käme wahrscheinlich nicht so gut. Wobei wir haben ja auch mitgekriegt, wie hilfreich die Polizei hier ist. Weiß ich nicht. Etwas zu trinken ist so Larifari, ne? Also. Ja, dann will ich halt was trinken.
Getting really scared now, he decided to call the police.
Ich bin bestimmt nochmal auf dem Weg dahin erschrecken.
His phone was of no use. The SIM card had been removed, and that wasn't even the worst part. There was a photo of a black cat set as screensaver. He remembered this cat. He'd watched that strange pest control man put it in a cage and into his van. He'd looked at it through the window for a while, then pulled the curtains and went to bed.
Ich habe ein bisschen Angst, dass wir das nachher dann alles so nachstellen müssen, weil das ist ja jetzt nur die Geschichte, die sie erzählt. Wir uns das alles merken müssen, so mit SIM-Karte raus, an die Wand schreiben, da an die Wand schreiben.
As in a dream, he went to the kitchen to get a drink. There was no water. He knew there were valves in the basement that turned it off, but no one's been down there for years. He felt sick. None of this made any sense. And yet, deep down, he knew what he did to the cats was wrong. There was a part of him that almost wanted to be punished. The part he tried so hard to hide. He thought he'd heard something in the corridor. Was there someone there with him? His head was spinning. He felt ambushed, trapped, like an animal. He had to get out of there. He stopped, paralyzed. He'd heard something right in front of him. A whisper. More like a purr. She was there, in the dark corner of his living room, waiting. Black veil covering that pale, dead face. And yet, he could almost feel Cat Widow's eyes piercing through him.
Eigentlich wollten wir den ja nur erschrecken, ne? Nicht, dass es nicht trotzdem verdient hätte. Ich habe Angst, ne? Schleier lüften, ne? Wir tragen eine Maske, dass dann, dass er das erkennt.
Cat Widow aimed a shotgun at his chest and fired.
Really? Your sick imagination is running wild again, Mrs. A.
Right, so that never really happened either.
Wie fies. Na gut, dann lüftete sie halt den Schleier. Spaßbremse.
She came closer, like a ghost, and swiftly removed the veil. She came back for him, to take him to the river, to make him pay for what he'd done. As he looked into her eyes, he could feel the world spinning around him, his knees go weak, his pants suddenly wet around his crotch. As much as he hated life, he didn't want to die either. Inside, he was just a big, stinking coward. And then he fainted. Did you see his face? I knew he'd fall for this.
Yeah, we scared the living shit out of him. Now that's teamwork. Are you sure he won't know it was you, though?
Oh, he probably will, once he's had time to think about what happened. But he's too proud to ever admit he's been beaten by a woman. I know him just about enough to know that.
Let's hope so. I don't want you to get in trouble because of me.
No. That was something I had to do for myself. And I feel much better for it.
The only problem now is that we still haven't found Eye of Adam. Because it definitely isn't Brian. The only problem now is that we still haven't found Eye of Adam. Because it definitely isn't Brian.
Let's cross him off the list.
Also sind wir selber?
Well, that means we've checked everyone. We've hit a brick wall. Perhaps I was wrong. Maybe he doesn't live here at all.
I think we need to sleep on it. And we might get some more ideas in the morning. Shall we head back home?
Yeah, I do feel tired. You're right, we need some sleep. Really wish there was an elevator in this building.
Ich auch, Mitzi. Ich auch.
What's that? A note? What does it say, Mrs. A?
You will not believe it. Meet me at midnight, both of you. I will wait. Flat 5. Door will be open. Do not fear. Eye of Adam.
Flat 5. That's the old guy. Can't be. It can't be him.
I guess we'll find out. At midnight. We've got a few hours until then. Let's get some coffee.